Hey toy fans, Aaron here. First up, I just want to give a brief mention for Hole in the Ground Productions. This is not a sponsored video or paid advertisement or anything. It's just trying to help a fellow collector out. They've got a website at holeinthegroundpro.com where he makes various parts and accessories, diorama pieces for 4-inch figures, focusing mostly on the Star Wars end, but certainly other stuff there. And recently they've launched an Indiegogo campaign where you can head to indiegogo.com, type in Hole in the Ground Productions, and this first thing here that comes up with diorama parts and accessories for 4-inch figures is their campaign. They're trying to raise the funds to move their production to factory level so they can spend more time creating other items. Sorry I don't have an external link to provide to get you there directly, but my channel's not that big and I'm not clear on if I can do that or not, so I'd rather stay out of trouble myself. But anyways, in my description is a link to their YouTube video where they go into more detail about their Indiegogo campaign and what they're trying to achieve. So if you're interested, certainly do check them out. And now on to today's review, where we're going to take a look at Ayy Vida from the Saga collection. So let's head to the table and check this one out. And taking a look at her on the card first, she does come on that phase 3 of the Saga collection, which I gotta say, this is my favorite look of the Saga line. I like that darker blue starry background that you're getting here. Nice gold stripe on the left side of the card stating Attack of the Clones, which is the movie she was in. And of course, through the bubble, you see the included figure, the bar glass, and the bar stool. Down at the bottom, you got a photo of her as she was seen in the movie, along with her name and that scene off to the right side. On the left side of the card, you got your number 38 with her name again, and collection 2 being the collection that she's in. And on the right side of the card, you got that number and name again, but now you got includes underneath that for the bar stool and the bar glass. And flipping to the back side, where on the top third of the card, off to the right side, you got an image of her, kind of that reference photo shot of her in her outfit. And then off to the left side, you got her name, and then here for the number, and you got the 03 for the year of the release, and then of course that 38 for being the number in the lineup. And then underneath that, you got a brief description about her. Of course, you can hit pause and read that all you want, and I'll just keep going on. And underneath that description, you got 2 photos, each showing you different variations of this figure. One with her standing holding that glass, and the other with her being seated on that bar stool. And one thing I'm actually just noticing here as I'm taking a look at these photos is that her right arm is bent. Almost 90 degrees there, and when we get to looking at this figure, you're going to see that her arms are straight out and there is no articulation. So it seems that the figure that they're showing here certainly does not match up with what they eventually released, which is actually quite unfortunate. And then on the bottom third of the card, you got your other figures that were also available in the line at this time. And now taking a look at the figure out of the packaging, you know, boy, overall, I gotta say, this is kind of a tough one for me. Don't get me wrong, I'm glad, that a background character was released, an alien character, a female character at that. I'm all for getting the characters that you only got a brief glimpse of in the movies, but I just don't think Hasbro did any favors on this figure. Taking a look at the head area, everything from the base of the neck up, so that collar on up, is just a reissued piece from Watto's box, the Twi'lek that came with that 3-pack of figures. And unfortunately, I mean, aside from the head tails, the sculpt of this figure, nothing else really matches up. That silver headband on top of her head, on the side of her ears and such, the sculpting of that does not match what she was wearing in the movie, and certainly you can tell that from the packaging shots. And this particular character didn't even have a collar around the neck. Once again, you can tell that from the packaging shots. So unfortunately, those things here don't match up at all with what the character should actually be looking like. Aside from that though, yes, the basics are checked. It's a Twi'lek, so she's got head tails. The design and coloring of those are looking pretty nice, especially a nice blending of that red and yellow. Through the face area, I'm going to say she's looking too green. Certainly there were a lot of red lights in that scene that, you know, might sway that color a little bit from how she looked in the film. But to me, overall, this just seems too much green. Aside from that, the rest of the painting in the face area does seem to match up pretty well with how the character looked in the movie. Painting in the eye area is looking nice. The red lips on my figure here aren't quite matching up, it looks like, with where they should be painted in. As I always like to say, that's something that's going to vary figure to figure. And although she wasn't wearing the collar in the movie, the painting on the figure that we're at least getting, at least in my case, is looking good. The silver is sticking right where it needs to be. It's not bleeding up on the neck or anything. And now taking a look at the midsection of the figure, the painting of it here is looking good as far as, you know, the looks of the figure, the way the little swirls and stuff were in the outfit. One thing here that I just feel isn't doing this figure any favors is the real separation of the outfit that she's wearing, which is skin tight, and so it's really hard to pick up on here. But it should be a little bolder in color, and the little more flesh areas of the figure, which is really just at the shoulder area of the figure, should be a little bit lighter in color. And that's not the case here, so you're not really getting that great separation of outfit to skin tone, so it's really hard to make out what's going on here. But you look close enough, you certainly do see the sculpt of the clothing that she's wearing at the top of the arms, along the chest area and stuff. Gotta say too, I'm not much for the exaggerated curve in the back. As far as the arms, this is what I was talking about earlier at the beginning of the review. That photo that you saw in the card, her right arm was bent at a 90 degrees. Here you see extended straight out. Also, this right hand is just not sculpted to hold the glass like she was in that photo. So certainly something changed in the process, and I gotta say, I wish that arm was bent. The left arm, this one is sculpted to hold that glass. You see that hand opened up there, getting down to the leg area of the figure. You know, coloring's looking good, lining up with what I would expect it to look like, even though I don't think we saw her waist down in the movie. And then at the foot area, she's got some sandals on, nice painting for the straps that are running around the ankle and the top of the foot. As far as the articulation of the figure, that head area, like I mentioned earlier, it's going to swivel just underneath that collar in the neck. Because of the head tails, your movement is pretty limited there. It's hitting against the back of the shoulders. As for the arms, you're able to swivel those all the way around at the shoulder area. And then at the leg area, you're getting them to bend straight out like that. And, well, back all the way too. And then as you may have caught on there at the knee area, you're going to get them to bend straight down also. So a good 90-degree bend there. But you're not getting any swiveling at the knee joint or at the waist. As far as accessories, she does come with two. First up, the bar stool. It's a great accessory to include with this figure, even though I think she was just standing at the table with a Mod Best character. But hey, I'm not going to complain. They gave us an accessory to go along with the other pieces that came out with the other figures for this club scene. The design, the sculpting of it is looking pretty good. That top seat of the bar stool is looking pretty okay. Sculpting of it, or the molding rather, it seems just a little bit rough, but when do you actually see a perfect looking chair in a restaurant? Nevertheless, nice dark brown color to it, and then those silver stripes running along the top and around to the sides. Decent looking there also. The silver painting is a little sloppy in this. Alright, it's more than a little, so it's that silver painting sloppy. Once again though, maybe you'll have better luck on yours or one that you find out there. And the legs of this bar stool, nice silver color to it. And with the articulation that the figure comes with in the leg area, she does sit on there pretty nicely, holds her balance well on that seat. And for the second accessory she comes with is this kind of translucent purple plastic bar glass. Got it against this white background so you can see that color a little bit better than being in front of my blue background. Decent sculpt to it, sits nicely in her left hand. And that's about all I need from it really. I don't need all these bar glasses to come with special painting to show liquid and stuff. Really is unfortunate that those arms just don't articulate, because it just seems weird that she's holding this glass so far away. Like, I'd really like to have that bent up a little closer or something. But anyways, that's what we got here. So overall, this isn't too bad of a figure. I really wish Hasbro would have gone in and just done a unique head sculpt for this figure instead of reissuing one that already came out and that didn't match how she looked in this movie. And as I already mentioned, I wish the paint application in the body area really highlighted the separation of the outfit to the flesh tone of the figure. But otherwise, if it means getting nothing or getting this, I'm certainly glad we got this figure, because like I said, your aliens, your background characters and such is what makes this Star Wars line so great. And getting some accessories to go along with the other items that came with the other figures for this club scene is pretty cool too. And so that wraps up this look at Ayy Vida. I'd love to know what your thoughts are on this figure in the comment section below. And as always, thanks for watching.